Hello and welcome to Unreligiously. My name is Lauren and today we're going to be diving into another Ross and Ava video, which I'm actually pretty excited about because they just returned from their wedding break that they took. The last video that we covered was them saying essentially the next time you see us, we'll be married, and they are. And in this video, they decided to cover the wedding night and the wedding in general. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, their video is almost 2 hours long, and I don't know yet when I'm filming this intro how long this video is going to be, but I am going to probably clip some of it out. A lot of the beginning of their podcast is just talking about the wedding day and all the things they were grateful for. And so I do want to make it clear that they really had a beautiful wedding by their own account. They talk about that for nearly an hour. Again, I'm only going to include what is relevant for you guys, and I don't know how much of that will be, but I also don't want to mislead you because I will have criticisms once they start talking about the wedding night and the honeymoon and things like that. So the wedding night apparently went very well. You'll hear some of that yourself, but if you're watching, you probably already know who Ross and Ava are, so I won't go too much longer with this intro. Let's just dive right into it and see Ross and Ava and how early marriage is treating them.
Thank you so much for watching. I love you.
All right.
Bye now. Wait, you're watching. We're not saying bye. Hello. Welcome.
Yo! Welcome. You welcome.
We're married.
Yo! Welcome back to the Jesus and Stuff podcast. If you don't know us, we're Ross and Ava, and we have been not dating anymore for 5+ years. We have been married for a week.
Wait. Oh, you're saying we're starting anew.
We're not dating.
So our dating years don't count?
No, I'm still going to date you.
So right off the bat, I do just want to say, again, obviously Ross and Ava seem really, really happy. They seem like they are really excited. They are in the honeymoon stage. They just got married, just moved in together, just experienced intimacy for the very first time. So they're having a really good time, and I hope that carries through. I think that's really awesome. That is better than I would have initially expected, to be honest. So I genuinely am happy for them that they are so happy. I do want to say, though, that a lot of the harms of purity culture aren't things that you are going to necessarily realize on your wedding night or within a week of getting married. And so I do still want to talk about potential harms. Now, are these meant to be predictive? Are these meant to say this is what is going to happen? Not necessarily, right? These are just very common patterns that we see. And so on one hand, I am going to take them at face value that they are really happy right now and things are going well. But on the other hand, I also don't want to turn a blind eye to the realities of what similar situations can look like. I know that Ross and Ava have gotten a lot of criticism in the comments on their videos. I was just kind of scrolling right before recording this, and in this video at some point, I don't know if we'll keep it in or not, but they do talk about like all of the hate that they're getting in spiritual warfare on their marriage, or something along those lines. And I know that they're probably talking about channels like mine. And so I do just want to once again reiterate, my intention is not to go send hate over to their channel. I don't want us to go leave nasty comments. Let's please keep the conversation here. And yeah, again, I am going to just take them at face value because they truly do give us enough content to critique without us having to read too much into it. So
Now welcome into our home. This is
our home for like 3 weeks.
Temporary home, but it's lovely. And Ava, show him the lamp.
I put a lamp back there. I saw this girl on Instagram that put a lamp in her kitchen, and it was actually probably...
All right, before this, I clipped out a massive section where Ava left the fridge door open. They let it ding and ding and ding. She went and closed it. She went and got a Bloom drink. I don't know if they're sponsored, but they do a very clear product placement with that in the True Fru. And she specifically talks about the Bloom. She spills it on herself. They get a paper towel. Blah, 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 blah. They keep going on and on and on. I am going to clip out this next part, but I am just letting you guys know that I'm clipping it out because there is going to be a big jump here. If you guys end up going and watching their original video, he does have this built out by chapters, and you'll notice that that first section is like really long. That is the bulk of what we're cutting out. So if you want to have the full, absolute full picture, feel free to go check it out over there. But yeah, I really wish that they would edit their videos. I say this in a lot of my videos with the younger content creators, and part of it might just be that they don't know how to edit very well yet, but it would seem that they are not editing at all. It would seem that they are just running from start to finish, and things like you leaving the fridge door open or having to go get, have your husband go get you a paper towel to clean up, those are things that I would appreciate being clipped out. I know I've talked about it now for 1 minute and 13 seconds, but that is seriously saving you guys an astronomical amount of time.
Yep. A lot of things to cover, but it's all very exciting things, and they're all things that I've really, really been looking forward to talking about. So, anyways, how shall we begin this?
I think that
endeavor?
I just want to hear you talk about your week leading up to the wedding.
The first thing that comes to mind when you mentioned the week leading up to wedding weekend is that my brain literally would not shut off. It was like, it wasn't stress, and I wouldn't call it stress, because literally everything about our wedding and our wedding weekend and all the activities and festivities were perfectly planned. Like, there was like nothing that went wrong or could have gone wrong, or like,
there was lots that could have gone wrong.
There was lots that could have gone wrong, but nothing went wrong. Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to read Ava sometimes because what she is describing, if a friend was talking to me, I would say, what you're describing, is that a gut feeling? You're saying I was like feeling this pit in my stomach, but it wasn't anxiety. I wasn't worried about anything. It was like this premonition type feeling. Those are the things that Ava says that make us, raise our concerns. I think obviously people are going to be more vocal about their concerns premaritally than they are now. Now they're married. They've signed and filed the paperwork. Like, there's not, you know what I mean? Ideally, they can make it work because divorce is not a fun time for anybody. So yeah, that is just kind of my first initial thought is she talking about a gut feeling? I didn't have a wedding. I just got married 2 months ago, but I did a family gathering for our immediate families, and we just signed the papers in front of them. We didn't do a ceremony. I wore a wedding dress and whatever, but that was pretty much it. So there wasn't a lot of planning. There wasn't anything crazy. People were ordering whatever they wanted up at the bar. You know what I mean? It was not anything crazy. So you guys that have had big weddings, you can speak to this. Maybe she is just talking about a very common, my wedding day is coming up and there's a lot going on, and even though I know it's planned and I know that everything's going to be good, it's just a lot, the pressure of a lot of people flying in for you and wanting everything to go well when there's nothing left to do, like feeling antsy. But again, it's hard to know with Ava, it's hard to read her, because when she described this feeling in the past, she would talk about her heart sinking down to her butthole and things like that, which to me, I think I said this in a previous video, but it's more reminiscent to me of when I was trying to describe anxiety to my doctor when I was 13, and I said they were like, is it like butterflies? And I said, kind of, but it's like giant demon bats instead, and 30 of them. And that to me is more in the same vein of what Ava is saying, like she doesn't have the proper verbiage to describe her experience, so she's just kind of saying my heart dropped to my butthole.
And genuinely leading up to the wedding, I was not stressed. It was just logistics thinking, because although everything was planned and set in stone, it was thinking about, but what are the steps of things that I have to do that I plan to do before those days happen. Mm-hmm. So my brain just wouldn't shut off. It was hard to sleep at night, but not because of stress, just because of low-key excitement.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the week leading up to the biggest day of your life. And for me, it was also you were moving out of your college house.
Oh, yeah, that was a whole thing, too.
And you're going to be moving into mine.
Yeah.
So it was
which is so sad.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pressed about it, but Not like pressed to live with you. I'm just sad about leaving my college house.
I think it is completely understandable and possible to be a little bit sad about leaving an old life behind, especially if you're waiting for marriage in this way where maybe you lived with your parents before. Maybe you had a roommate that was a best friend and now you are going directly from that into living with a spouse, and so it feels like you are maybe losing something, saying goodbye to a piece of yourself. You're never going to have the same relationship dynamic with your parents or your best friend again. I could imagine maybe feeling that way when you're getting married as young as they are. So I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that if you feel sad leaving a place, that necessarily is the biggest red flag in the world. But this is the type of thing that critics like myself, or maybe you guys, if you're viewing this, and I don't like the word critic because it's not like I hate Ross and Ava or anything like that. I hope I've made that clear. It's more concern. It's like a red flag to us, because if you're not giving the benefit of the doubt, if you're not choosing to absolutely give the benefit of the doubt and just like blindly look at everything in the best possible light, it starts to get concerning. She's talking about feeling disappointed about moving in with Ross and being really sad about that even now, which maybe initially before moving in with Ross, the wedding and the honeymoon, she could have been like, this is unknown, I don't know what it'll be like. But now you would think that she wouldn't be going, oh yeah, I am living with you now. That to me is a red flag a little bit, but what do I know? I went to school for communications, not to be a therapist. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But yeah, this is just one of many comments that we've heard from Ava multiple times that has led all of us to feel a little bit wary and start to have a little bit of concern for her.
Yeah.
I liked my college.
So there was that part of it that was, yes, getting you moved out, but you weren't necessarily thinking about how you were leaving your house.
No.
The what it was going to be like when you got back.
Right.
But I was grinding, because this is my college house too. So my roommates were moving out kind of a few weeks leading up to the week before the wedding, and some the week of the wedding. Mm-hmm. And I was just hustling to make sure that this place was perfect, but also different enough. That
my
office was in my bedroom, so I moved that into
another
one of my roommates' old bedrooms, so that could be kind of refreshed.
Organizing the kitchen a little bit better, cleaning everything.
Getting drawers prepared for your clothes to be there, and the closet.
Yeah, my stuff still didn't freaking fit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have enough room, but we're also preparing to live a little smaller, so we didn't want to. We have plenty of closets.
Which that's a whole thing. I was thinking about this today. When we move into our new home, I'm so excited to give house tour when it's all ready and done. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Anyways,
I feel like Ross and Ava have not learned internet safety. At some point in this video, they list the first name of every single member of their wedding party and how they know them. And it's this would make it, for creepy people on the internet, extremely easy to find these people, right? And I just wouldn't want a link. Or if you give a house tour, that people will be able to find you. Ross and Ava, anybody that personally knows Ross and Ava, genuinely just out of a safety concern, maybe bring this up to them, or maybe consider this, because I personally, I work in social media. My personal thing is I've already shared too much of my home, because you guys, somebody out there will be able to find a molding in one of my videos, and the texture on the wall behind me, the color of it, and one of my doors, and they will be able to figure out maybe not exactly where I live, but my neighborhood, right? And then can narrow it down from there. Already too much. Do not give a house tour. Do not share architecture. You guys think all the homes are made the same. The people that know how to do this stuff will be able to find you.
But yeah, for me, it was less honestly, there was not one night that I was so excited that I couldn't sleep. I think I was so exhausted because I was grinding, and we were moving stuff from your house, and 12-hour days of moving. And
yeah, low-key wedding week was just moving week.
Yeah.
That's like all it was.
And you had appointments like spray tans and hair and
nails
all that kind of stuff.
and eyebrows and
Yeah. And I did not have any of that, so I was just kind of like hanging out. But it was also nice to have all of that stuff to do the week of, because if I didn't have anything to do,
You'd
I
just
think
be
I would.
sitting and thinking.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
So.
But we did it.
Wedding week.
Fire.
Friday night was
Busy.
rehearsal dinner.
Yeah. Rehearsal dinner was fun. You talk about rehearsal dinner because I think you got more out of the rehearsal dinner than I did. Well, not that I didn't get anything out of it, but I think you liked the rehearsal dinner like more than our wedding day.
You know, I think it's interesting that Ava says that she thinks Ross may have enjoyed the dinner the night before the wedding more than their actual wedding day, because when she asked him in their last video what his favorite part of engagement had been, which hers was just being engaged to him, his answer was the engagement party because of how affirming and validating all of the people around them were. So I kind of am curious to hear what Ross says, but this seems to be a common theme with him, and I believe in my last video I kind of lost it a little bit and was like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but with Ross, it's like he never gets it right. Like, I get that once in a while, young men sometimes put on the spot might not come up with the most romantic answers or anything like that. But I think the issue is that Ross is speaking from the heart and being honest when he says things like, that party, because of other people's validation, was my favorite part of being engaged to you. And it's also the lack of awareness. But yeah, I mean... Let me know what you guys think there, but those types of comments make me uncomfortable.
I woke up on Friday morning of the rehearsal dinner, and I was like...
You were nervous.
I hadn't been nervous all week, all year,
Ross was
all
nervous.
my life for my wedding day. But when I got up Friday morning for the rehearsal dinner, I was like... Ava had talked about the stomach drop feeling when anybody said, like, your wedding's a month away, your wedding is 2 weeks away, a week away. That hit me all at once on Friday. And so, like, all day long, I was kind of bugging out. And then...
on the drive there, you were, like, shaking.
Yeah, I was...
You were sweating.
I don't want to have to keep stopping them because we actually are early on in the video and there's just a lot more comments they make in this than I remembered originally. With every comment I make, I could say, listen, you guys, I don't know, and this could be, if we give them the benefit of the doubt, it could be just because they're very young. That's the reality. Like, they are just young people. They're maybe putting things on the internet before they're thinking them through. Who knows if it's even accurate to them? But honestly, when they keep making these types of comments over and over and over again, it almost feels like disingenuous, or like I'm being condescending to you guys as the viewer to keep saying, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because it so clearly is like, it feels like it's so clearly right in front of us. So I'll let this one just speak for itself, and I am going to quit saying in this video, let's get, benefit of the doubt, here's another side, unless I really think it's necessary. But just, you keep in the back of your mind, they are very young. However, the patterns that we're seeing are well documented. Purity culture things and the comments that they're making are certainly not inspiring confidence.
Yeah, it was just a really special night because, again, it was one of those, like, it's the people that you care enough about and that care enough about you to be
there the
2 nights
night
in
before.
a row.
Yeah. Like to literally be there Friday
and to come from out of
Saturday.
town and from like just all the different things like that. So, yeah, there were a lot of special moments in that night.
It was fun. I really loved what we did for dinner.
We had mellow mushroom.
We had mellow
pizza.
mushroom.
We had
like
12 pizzas,
which is like just so like casual and like.
But it's not like, if you don't know mellow mushroom and you're thinking we're talking like it's like a Little Caesars vibe.
No,
it's not.
it's
It's
like
like mellow mushrooms. Legit.
It's like good vibes.
It's like a
bro.
legit chain.
But like that was like perfect, like pizza, and then we had ice cream. It was like pizza and ice cream. It was just like so. The ice cream was from like a local spot in our town, but
Gas.
so freaking good. But that
Shout out Meltdown.
like low key dinner was my favorite part.
Stop location dropping. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it, you guys. It is not safe.
And then our, both of my all of my groomsmen and all of your bridesmaids
We're awesome people.
Were great
all
and
day.
so helpful. So I hear horror stories of people's weddings that even my mom talks about hers. Like she was putting out flowers like 45 minutes before
she walked down the aisle.
And we just weren't even in that. I was up at the cabin playing board games and cornhole. Like I wasn't thinking. And if I needed to be thinking about something, somebody was coming to tell me what I needed to be thinking about.
Yeah.
And where I needed to go.
It was so good. If there's one thing that we could recommend that made our wedding day so easy, it is like you need to get a wedding coordinator, if not a planner.
Isn't that like not cheap? I feel like I'm not somebody that enjoys planning, and so that is one of the many reasons that I personally just chose to do like an elopement style thing. But I feel like I remember looking briefly at wedding planners or coordinators or whatever, and they're not cheap. I'm going to basically clip out most of the wedding. I know I already kind of told you guys this. They had a great wedding, but they literally detail everything. They're like giving you advice to get a fucking wedding coordinator. They're telling you the location of the coffee shop that their friend brought them coffee from. Just things that I think are like safety risks and are also extremely mundane and just not that interesting. So, I mean, maybe for their audience, young single Christian women or young single Christian men who are wedding planning, this could be really helpful advice, but I think that you guys can make these calls on your own.
Post on social media is like, don't leave your spouse aside your wedding night because you want to just like experience all the same things together and it's y'all's night, whatever. Which totally, like, in my brain, I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, of course I don't want to leave Ross.
Now, after our wedding, I disagree with that.
Yeah,
though.
I disagree with it too.
I think that you're never going to get those people in the same room again. And if I'm going to be honest, there were certain people that she hadn't seen in a long time that she wanted to talk to that I just really didn't care that much to talk to. I would have rather be talking to the
people that he didn't get to see.
I guess if I had a huge wedding where it was like loose acquaintances were invited, I could understand having this viewpoint, but even if we invited 100, 150 people, there's nobody that my spouse could have invited that was important to him that wouldn't have been important to me, that I wouldn't have also wanted to talk to. And yeah, you're not going to have all these people in a room again, but the night isn't special for them because they are all in a room together. It's special for you because it's your wedding night and they are there to witness that. And everybody knows as a wedding guest that you get 3 seconds of FaceTime with the bride and groom, and that's just how it goes because it's not your night. You are there to support and share in the love, and you're not going to be the only one getting all of the time. So this is kind of a weird viewpoint to me, and also it's kind of distasteful, even if they really feel this way, to say it on the internet, because there's going to be people now at the wedding who weren't offended before that Ross never talked to them and only Ava did. But now they're going to see this video and be like, okay, so Ross couldn't have cared less about talking to me at that wedding. I spent $500 on a hotel and gas and an outfit and a wedding present for this, but that's cool. I understand that if you have a giant wedding, you aren't going to know and want to talk to everybody. But again, it's like just putting this out in a podcast seems very distasteful to me and unfortunate for the guests. And I get that they're both agreeing here. And she's like, yeah, and some of your people I didn't want to talk to either. But my wedding day is my wedding day, and I want to be celebrating my love with my spouse, not dancing with my girlfriends on the dance floor while he's smoking a cigar on the back patio. I could have done that when I was single.
I never get to see that came for me. And to be able to honor the fact that they're there, but also just to get to hang out with them.
And there honestly wasn't enough time for both of us to be like
locked into conversations
collectively, like doing all of the, to have the intentionality with those people. Yeah. Like together. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to get to be with each other for the rest of our lives.
We are going to be together for the rest of our lives is a really weird reason to me to be 10 toes down on spending your wedding day separately. Part of it to me is the way that they're talking about it, right? I'm sure there are people out there who had, again, these giant weddings, and maybe your spouse went to go get a drink and it took an hour for him to find you again because you had a giant wedding and a giant venue and whatever. Like, I'm not trying to call out everybody here, but it's like, why you guys both, I cut out almost an hour worth of content of them just talking about how fun their wedding was, which is great, and I'm glad. But now they're talking about how, like, they didn't spend it together. So to me, it's like, is that such a green flag? I think at the beginning of this video, I was like, I really am happy to see that. I hope it continues. But it's like, if the wedding event was so fun, maybe not because you didn't spend it together, but you didn't spend it together, that really doesn't tell me, I guess, very much. If I had spent my wedding day separately from my husband, that would have just been very strange to me, and it would have made me feel very weird.
And there were lots of moments that we were together at our wedding.
Oh, there were plenty.
That we got to have real conversations with people who got to speak life into us and got to love on us. But
that's the thing. Like, yes, we were separated and spending time with those people, but, like, there were so many points in the night where we just came back together, debriefed, and then, like, separated again, and then came together and debriefed, and yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like we were going to be pretty hard on ourselves for that. Naturally, we just split up a few times.
Yeah.
And again, you're geared for the dance floor, and I danced with you some.
You did. Thank you.
But also, like, the dance floor was a space that you had friends that you had danced with that you got to dance with again.
Ava wanted to dance with her single girlfriends. She could stay in the sorority. She could have gone to college for another year. She could stay on her dance team. She could go to the club. She does not have to have a wedding to do that. I feel like, you know, they said they met throughout the night. That's not the worst thing ever, but it's just like seeing all their other content, it really does leave a bitter taste in my mouth. It's the excuses they're making about it. It's not like, oh my gosh, we were both having so much fun and we love checking in throughout the night and, like, giving each other the details. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're trying to tell us why doing it separately was the better option, why they both had more fun that way. And it's like, maybe find a compromise with the dancing and meet in the middle. I don't know, but I would guarantee that for most people, they would prefer that the majority of, like, their wedding memories are with their spouse. The guests are an important piece of it. I'm not denying that, but I definitely would want the bulk of my time spent with the actual person I was marrying.
I got to go outside and talk to my former coworkers that all live in different spots in the countries. One of them's a dad now. One of them, two of them work in Atlanta, and just from all over the place. And I got to spend a lot of time with those guys, and that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was honestly, like, it was perfect. I would not have wanted our reception to go another way. People cleared out pretty early, which at first it was like, why are y'all leaving? But then low-key, like, everyone was out by 9:30, and it was freaking perfect.
Yeah.
And, like, the dance floor was so fun. It was freaking fire. That's our entire wedding day. How long have we gone?
We are at 20 minutes. So
do we need to make another episode?
No, we're going to keep going.
Okay.
This is my plan. This is just us planning in real time. So welcome to the planning.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Jesus and Stuff podcast.
Planning. So at the end of this episode, I'm going to give a briefing for what we just talked about in this episode.
Okay.
And we're going to put it at the beginning. And I'm going to say, if you want to just
hear the full context. Oh, if you want to just
hear a certain section, then you can go to the chapter, because I'll break them down. You know how you can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job, Ross.
So now we enter into, oh wow, this is what everyone wants to hear.
Our wedding night!
We got in the car after our wedding and we drove off. ...
We're virgins. Not anymore.
So,
all right, this is the meat of the podcast. This is what actually matters. As you can hear, they just said they're at 1 hour and 20 minutes of their podcast. So we are at 30 minutes. I cut a majority out. Due diligence here is just saying they love their wedding night. Again, I do have the criticism that if you didn't spend it together, I'm glad you loved it, but I don't really know what that tells me, or what kind of assumptions I could make based off of that, so I'll just leave that be. We are going to go into their wedding night, where they're going to detail their first time experiencing intimacy with each other. Want to give you guys a trigger warning for just coercion in this. It is subtle, but I do see it personally, and so I do just want to give you guys a red flag for that. This is going to be talking a lot about the harms of purity culture at this point, and this is more of a side comment that I want to make, but I do want to say that I'm a little confused by Ross and Ava and the point of some of the things that they talk about. They don't script their videos and they don't edit them, and that is maybe part of why it's hard to know the purpose. But they'll talk about how they really want to be open with people so that they can receive good advice like they were looking for in their engagement season, and that's why they're going to go in detail about sexual intimacy. But they don't actually give any helpful advice at all, in my opinion, or anything constructive. They are just detailing their first night together and like giggling about it and like giving each other eyes and being like silly about it. And it's uncomfortable to watch for me. I feel like they shouldn't be talking about it. I'm not a prude. I'm not saying that you can't talk about sex on the internet or like your wedding night on the internet, but it does just feel, again, that they're very young, that they maybe should not be talking about this so soon after their wedding. And then also the way that they talk about it, it really doesn't do them any favors.
One thing that we were really looking forward to about our wedding night, actually, and we're gonna do this for somebody now because one of my groomsmen, Gabe, also our pastor.
Wait.
Am I getting ahead of myself?
Yeah. Can we talk about the car ride to the hotel?
Sure. Yeah.
I had the expectation, dude. I had so many expectations for this dang wedding night, okay? And low key, I was tripping.
Well, yeah, if you are somewhat familiar with us, if you've ever seen anything that we've posted, chances are it's one of the videos that blew up because people are hating on Ava for crying, for feeling the way she felt about
for being nervous about my wedding night. God freaking forbid. God freaking forbid a girl who's never been in. Anyways, okay. So I was tripping about the car ride there. I was like, it's gonna be so awkward. We're not gonna know what to talk about.
It was like
Ross and Ava will say that anybody that doesn't agree with them is a hater. And if you go look at their comments, anybody that isn't like 1,000,000% on their side, they won't respond to. They won't like the comments. They won't respond to any sort of criticism, even from other Christians. And so them saying that's what the haters were saying, I don't think so. I think, yes, did they get some hate comments? Potentially. I didn't see any. The majority of people, though, were concerned for Ava because she was crying, saying that the idea was like horrific to her. She didn't want to be doing it. She has consistently said in other videos that she is aware that like Ross is gonna want to do it all the time and she's not going to want to do it. They've talked about how she lost physical attraction for a little while and didn't want to even like touch him, and they were kind of counseled that Satan will try to keep you physically apart, and that's what was going on, and not just that she isn't attracted to him. So it's not that people are coming in and saying, Ava, like, you're a baby for this, or Ava, you shouldn't feel this way. It's people saying, Ava, pay attention to the way that you're feeling because it is valid and your feelings can tell you something, and you should pay attention to your gut feelings. You should pay attention to your responses to things and take them seriously. She made these plans, her and Ross made these plans to get married at this age when they were 15 years old, and it seems like they haven't really critically looked at that plan since then. They've just gone with it, and Ava has seemed not ready. And again, this is from the content that they put out. We can't respond to things that aren't there. And I can't tell you guys how many Christian couples or channels I have landed upon where I'm like, oh, this will end up being great content. And I spend 6 hours watching their stuff, and I'm like, I don't have a problem with any of this, right? I can't make things be there that aren't there. I can't make content where there is none. I don't pull criticisms out of my ass. But they give us the content. They are the ones who put it in front of us, and I don't know if it's more concerning to me that they put it out or that they put it out and don't understand the concern that they receive.
It was the most normal car ride. We just rode to the hotel and low-key kind of debriefed, but not really. We more just were like, I am so tired.
I think we both felt like something was going to drastically change in our lives. That when we got in the car, it was going to be this like magical.
It was like, that just happened.
Yeah, but it really wasn't.
We're
like,
married now.
In the best way.
In the best way, nothing changed.
In the best way, it was that me and my best friend, and now my wife, but still the same best friend
and human being that you were before.
We got in the car and we were driving away from our wedding. And yes, there was some thought about what might happen that night, and also some conversation about like how are we going to prepare for leaving for our honeymoon, and just some of that stuff. But also just like a little bit of debrief. But it was just a very like,
it was more just like, man, that was crazy. I'm tired.
Christian evangelical culture, particularly purity culture, marriage is really presented to you as the finish line. That is when your real life starts. That's when you've made it. God's ultimate calling for you, if you're a man, is going to be a husband and a father, and if you're a woman, it's most likely going to be a wife and a mother. Did I say a husband and a father, wife and a mother? Whatever, you guys know what I'm saying. So when a lot of times these Christian couples get to their wedding nights, they have this really big expectation of it being a crazy spiritual experience. And that is the sense of being married. That's the actual wedding and the vows. And that is also carried over into the sexual relationship, and in particular that wedding night, that God is going to really bless it in a tangible, fun way. And the reality is that it is a human marriage. It is two humans speaking to one another when they do vows. Not that it's not meaningful, but that is what it is. And sex is a human orgasm, it results ideally in a human orgasm, right? And that is, none of that is this transcendent spiritual experience. All of these are experiences that are incredible and amazing, but they are still under the confines of the human experience, right? And for a lot of these people, they've spiritualized it to such a degree, which Ross and Ava before were like, we have no expectations. We've been counseled in this way. We don't. And now they're saying they did, which is often what happens. People do have these expectations because they are told, like, this is when life is going to change. This is when God is going to bless it. So why wouldn't it feel different? Now it's blessed. Now it's sanctioned by God. It's interesting to me here that they're both like, it's weird that it felt exactly the same. And I do wonder if this isn't, in part, just having such high expectations that the reality feels a little bit like a letdown, because I have said before in my videos that I married my husband because I want it to look the same. Generally speaking, I know that he's going to change throughout life and all of that, but I already love who he is now. I love our lives together. We lived together prior to getting married for, longer than a year. So there wasn't anything shocking or a big change. We got ready together, drove and signed the papers, and drove home. And I was expecting not to really feel different, but it was still, it felt like a real wedding to me. It felt super exciting on the drive home. Every day I look down at my wedding band and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm married. And that's just me. I don't expect every single person to react like this, but it's kind of interesting that to me, I didn't have this spiritual experience expectation in front of me, and I feel like I have been basking in the glow of the change, even though I know that nothing has really changed besides, just making it official. But for them, it's they have way more really changing. They're moving in together, they can sleep together, they're changing a whole bunch of things into them. It doesn't feel like that big of a deal. So that's just interesting to me, and maybe it just requires more processing for them because it is a bigger change.
So yeah, Gabe brought us 2 box combos, no slaw, extra toast, extra sauce, and
2 waters because
we were so thirsty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we went upstairs.
Yeah.
And
we went into our hotel room.
We did. And it was very, I didn't know what to expect. I think that I thought when we got engaged and when we were talking through all of this, especially as much as we were talking about it on podcast and just in premarital counseling and just with each other.
Alone, yeah.
I thought that come our wedding week, that was kind of gonna be taking up a big part of my mind.
And if you're waiting till your wedding day, of course that is going to be on your mind, but I do just want to say that this is one of the reasons that from a very young age, like I talked about this in young teen Christian girl therapy, was the wedding night and how sex focused it was, how now everybody knows that this is the date you lost your virginity, like your exact sexual, it's just very odd to me. And I want my husband, my future husband, well, he's my husband now, but like when I was 13, I was like, I want my future husband to be excited to marry me because he feels extremely confident and we're like ready to start this life together, not because he's excited to see me naked for the first time or because he's like all pent up hormonally and has never seen a woman naked before. Like that to me is much more degrading and objectifying than choosing to go at your own pace and then marrying someone not based on that, or with that not being the background focus of the wedding night. The other thing is just all the comments. Like, I obviously wasn't at Ross and Ava's wedding, but when you attend these types of weddings, a lot of times, especially the groomsmen, are going to be making a lot of jokes about the wedding night. Are you guys excited for tonight? Do you guys have everything for tonight? Can we expect a honeymoon baby for tonight? You know, it's like, and those jokes, the honeymoon baby jokes, the blah, 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 could be a little bit more funny maybe if everyone wasn't hyper aware of the fact that, like, you guys were gonna do it that night. It just feels like a humiliation ritual. I don't know. I know that he's trying to say it as a nice thing, like, about how excited he was, but to me, if my husband was like, I was the most excited about our wedding night because I was gonna get to do it, that would feel very juvenile to me.
And in reality, it wasn't even taking up a big part of my mind when we got in the car to leave our wedding.
No, I mean, genuinely, yeah, that it's so crazy because it was such a huge,
heavy.
It was such a huge part of what it felt like marriage was. Because, like, not that we were getting married so that we could be intimate, but
That's part
it was
of it.
one of the biggest changes.
So Ava says it's not the reason we were getting married, but then Ross says, but it was part of it. Yeah, to me, that is degrading. If you guys being able to have, this is where the trope of Christians getting married young and getting married fast to be able to have sex comes from. That to me is degrading. You are not a sex object and you are worthy of being married to somebody who sees you and values you for who you are. And for you and your partner, like if you're not, maybe if you're asexual, this isn't important to you, but for a lot of people, sex is an important part of that relationship, but that should not factor into your wedding date. I know that Ava is in this culture, right? And so she's not offended by it. She's not offended by his comments, but it's kind of hard to listen to. Like you just got married. You're a newlywed bride and your husband is saying publicly that part of the reason he chose to get married to you is so you could fuck. Great.
That we were going to experience. And so, like, so much of our engagement season that felt so large and so big. And not to say that it's not, but yes, come wedding week and like surprisingly come wedding night, that just felt so like,
yeah, we get in the room.
It was just like, okay.
Honestly, and what I was most excited for when we got in the room was we had our guest book was a Bible, and people would go through and highlight verses that they wanted us to see and write a note or their name next to it. And there were some cards that we got still, went through all that. And that's like what I was more excited about. And to eat too.
Oh my God, and to eat. And to turn on the TV.
Yeah. So
and to watch Seinfeld.
And just kind of.
And literally just chill. Yeah. Dude, I was so ready to get that dress off. Like, it was hurting my back. I was ready to sit on a bed and just, eat.
Yeah. So, something that we actually did for ourselves that was kind of like advised that we do was kind of plan our wedding night a little bit more than we would have expected that felt comfortable.
I personally don't like this. Their pastor also advised them to schedule out when they would be having sex during the week so Ava could commit to a schedule for Ross premaritally, and they've done that. And now he's detailing that they wanted them to talk about the wedding night. This is how people end up getting traumatized, because a lot of times people aren't ready. They have never made out before. They've never seen someone naked before. They are not ready to just jump into sex that night. And it's not a natural thing. And a lot of times what I see from these couples is that they will detail their first experience as being like good because it was them, and then all of the details will describe the worst sexual experience I've ever heard that's consensual. And yeah, but they'll say it's good because it's them. And then in a few years, then they start to talk about how they overcame all of these issues, and they'll open up about it and how it was actually a big struggle for them. So I'm not going to be surprised to hear Ross and Ava say these things, because this is basically the evangelical script, and it's also how younger people are sold a lie. When you are a young person and someone's saying it's going to be perfect because it's the two of you, you interpret that as meaning that it is going to genuinely end up feeling perfect to you because you're the two involved. What they're saying is that it will be beautiful because your souls are involved in it. Not that the experience will actually be joyful, but like it'll be beautiful and like that God blessed it, okay? And it's like God blesses a lot of things. I talk about this in my videos a lot. They even will say, if we do marriage God's way, if we wait for sex and do it God's way, why wouldn't God bless our marriage bed? God blessed Jesus, and Jesus was crucified. Like, basically naked on a cross, okay? He was whipped, he was beaten, he had a crown of thorns placed in his head, and he is described as blessed. So I don't appreciate this viewpoint and this kind of talking down to younger Christians that happens, where you'll tell them God's gonna bless it, blah, blah, blah. And you're making them think that that means that it's going to be enjoyable or good or not traumatic. I'm going off on a tangent. Back to the scheduling thing. This is why it's not a good idea to schedule it. You don't know, though, on your wedding night how you're going to feel, right? They might be ready. We haven't seen this yet. They might be ready, and if they are, that's great. But if they're not, scheduling it is just going to put pressure on Ava to feel that she can't say no now. She might know that, like, on paper, she can say no to Ross, but knowing that she just got married and that this is something they talked about beforehand and planned, and he has told her it's going to really, really disappoint her, does she really want her first solo decision she makes as a wife to really, really disappoint her husband?
So we knew like the flow of like the events that would happen to lead up to whatever happened that night. Mm-hmm. But we also, like, that wasn't like a hard set, like no matter what, we're going to do this and this and this and this. But like we knew that we were on the same page about
certain things and how we wanted certain things to go.
So actually, one of the things that we were advised on too was like, you don't have to do anything on your wedding night.
Yeah, so many people were, and even so many people commented that, but so many people in our lives were like, you have your whole lives to figure that out. If you don't want to do that on your wedding night, like, you don't have to.
Yep, and this is excellent advice, and this also carries over to literally every other day of the year. If you don't want to have sex, you do not have to.
In the car on the way there to the hotel, I said that. I was like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I thought I was gonna be so excited for this, to the point that like when we were in the car, I was just gonna be like, yes, let's go have sex. But honestly, like, I looked at her in the car and I was like, hey, I know I've told you that like on our wedding night I wouldn't be disappointed if we didn't have sex, but like, honestly,
genuinely,
I don't even care tonight.
Yeah,
like,
I don't care.
I felt so like, yes, again, I was very excited for that to happen when it was gonna happen, but I was so tired, so ready to just like let my brain turn off. And so I was like, we don't have to do anything tonight.
I like the direction this is going, but I'm very wary because it is Ross, and I just feel like maybe he saw the criticism about his last video where people said that I said that it felt like they were going down a road of marital coercion to me. So it feels like now he's really trying to hit home that they do not have to do it, and he's letting her know that it's okay. I don't like that it feels like he's acting like he's doing some kind of a favor here, or like leading the path by saying, you know what, actually, I'm tired. It's kind of like, this is pretty common for people on their wedding night. They're too tired to do anything. Also, you're marrying someone that you waited till the wedding night with, so I would typically imagine that you're not doing everything in the book on your wedding night.
Yeah, I just remember being so exhausted. And I also thought that I knew I was going to be tired, but I thought that once I like got in the car and we got to the hotel, I was just immediately going to have like adrenaline and like just be like, okay, I am so excited for this. Or I'm just like, I'm so ready for this, whatever. And that like literally didn't happen. I literally was just so tired. I was so exhausted. I was so tired and hungry. Okay, so anyways, we get there. We sit on the bed. We eat our canes. We open our cards. We read the Bible, our guest book Bible.
Yeah.
Then we're sitting there watching TV. And if you don't know, wait, I don't know how detailed to get about this.
I don't care how.
You don't care?
I don't care. You just say what you need to say. Doesn't bother me.
I'm nervous.
I mean, use discretion. Don't.
Okay. I'm like, details. Anyways, if you don't know, Ross and I waited to see each other naked. We waited to see each other naked until we were married.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying
No,
that.
I know. I don't know. It's just like, it's weird. I
Saying
don't know.
the word naked. Oh,
It's like they're so uncomfortable talking about it. They act like this is such sexual talk that it like makes me uncomfortable to watch them talking about it. Like I want to reach through the screen and be like, you guys know you don't have to share this, right? Like most people don't detail losing their virginity on the internet.
I'm like, naked. Ross and I waited to see each other naked until we were married. And honestly, goal achieved, bro. Like we literally went 5.5 years without seeing each other's private parts.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And
Ross, how the hell do you not see someone's private parts? Mostly. It's the age. I have to remind myself.
literally, like, sex, A, B, C, D, F, G. Like, okay. I mean, I was still a little nervous for that, but I was so nervous to see him naked, and I was so nervous for him to see me naked. Like,
yeah, it was just so
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And we said that we were going, oh my God. We said that we were going to.
Hold on. Disclaimer. We want to be very careful about what we talk about, but we also want to be very open with what we talk about because we know how difficult this part of our lives was for all of engagement and a lot of dating. So we want to be a little bit more open than maybe feels comfortable.
And it is uncomfortable because what's the lesson here? You guys are most likely going to ultimately say that the sex was good because it was the two of you. Why are you detailing the step-by-step decisions that you guys made in conversations you had surrounding intimacy? I feel like there is a way that Christian content creators could talk about their wedding night and say, listen, we want to talk about this. We want to talk about purity. We're not going to go into the specifics and details and dates and timelines of all of this, but here's what we do want to say. You know, we really found it helpful to take the pressure off of it and not say that we had to do it that night and allow, you know, maybe we did it that night, and if we did, it was because we wanted to, and if we didn't, it's because we were tired and we wanted to wait. We let that be up to us. Like, I think there's a way to talk about this and give people some good pointers. Potentially, although this is pretty basic, like just respect one another type stuff, but detailing how you and your spouse actually had sex, I just feel like is not really useful to anybody. I feel like it's really kind of juvenile. For Ross, it feels like he's bragging that he lost his virginity, and for Ava, it's like her trying to come back from the hate comments towards her being nervous. She's like, see, I actually had a great time now. It wasn't purity culture. God didn't ruin anything for me. Like, this is what it feels like he's bragging. And I just feel like they maybe should have taken more time to sit on this before publishing it because, yeah, whatever. We'll let them continue. I can't believe that they put this out there.
And we're going to be honest.
We should be honest.
And we're going to tell some things that did help us, as not uncomfortable as it might feel, but like, you're not going to get this on YouTube a lot, probably.
No? Well, I just know, like...
I know it's practical. I know it's helpful. I never heard many people talk about it other than people that were close to us that cared for us. And not everybody is going to get that opportunity. And I just want to be able to say
The other thing is, like, I do also really want to talk about it because I just want to say to the person that is, like, so scared for their wedding night that I was so scared and nervous, and it was fine.
And that's fine to share, but then why not leave it at that? Why not say, I had all these fears. You guys have watched the many, many episodes where I detailed them. Those things ended up not being an issue for me. And I realized that, you know, I maybe could have enjoyed that season more if I didn't have that anxiety. And so I want you guys to know that you also can maybe, like, try to let some of that stuff go. But again, I don't know. Like, I am glad that she had a good experience. I am concerned what that good experience looks like, however. We'll have to wait as the video goes on. But what I am more concerned about is just, like, the year after marriage, the year following marriage, because a lot of times this initial event where you believe it's going to be super spiritual, people can, like, get into that, but once they're home, once they're living life, this is where this is dirty and wrong. It doesn't, like, the wedding high wears off, and it doesn't feel maybe spiritual anymore, and now you feel like you're doing something bad or wrong, or you and your spouse run into differences in sex drive or interests or whatever. All of those things can start to crop up. So again, I am thrilled that she was not traumatized by her first experience, by her own, you know, narration. But yeah, for those of you that pray, don't stop, because I do feel like a lot of times people don't actually realize the issues or the problems because they just don't have that experience built up yet.
Like, it was completely fine. And just to give the lay of the land of, like, this is why it was fine. And this is what we did to make it fine.
And can I stop you here too?
Yeah.
A lot of people told us that this is how we would feel.
Yes.
That it would feel like it was completely fine.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for us to hear that because it didn't feel like it was going to be
it was going to be fine.
And I want to say to the person who is hearing all over the place that
it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. That honestly, if Ryan said this in our podcast with Abby and Ryan, if you have done it God's way or attempted to do it God's way, he will honor that. And that could not be more of the case. Like, it was perfect.
Fine.
So
Ross cuts Ava off so much, and he's received that as a comment a lot in their comment sections. And I feel like in this video, he's trying to be better about it by saying, can I just say first? But he's cutting her off when he does that, and it makes it even more noticeable and more agitating to me. But this is one of those situations where I'm like, I am on the fence, benefited the doubt 50-50, because I kind of wonder if him starting to say, can I just say, and do that is him trying to make that initial improvement, because I don't remember him doing it this way in past videos. He would just start to talk over her.
You can set yourself up for success to make it feel more natural, or
and to make it feel a little less nerve-wracking,
or maybe less natural but more comfortable, because you're on the same page. And I think something you were really nervous about was how awkward it might be, or like how have you never seen each other naked for the first time, and then just like, do you just stand on opposite sides of the room and just like,
hello?
Or are you gonna, like, how is that gonna work? And so we literally talked through what that was gonna look like. As it was kind of getting started, we were like, okay, where do you want me to stand? How do you want this to happen? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
So we never see each other naked. I literally looked at Ross. This was the one thing I just, like, was so nervous about. And I knew that once this happened, it was like, I felt like everything else is kind of going to, like, flow a little bit better. But I looked at him, I was like, I just need to rip that Band-Aid. I just need to do it. I just need to not like be scared. It's like, I'm literally going to be married for you for 100,000 years. Okay. So I just need to like get this over with, not over with, but I just like need to do this.
No,
the next 100,000 years
right.
are great. Right. Like it's going to have to happen at some point. So yeah. So we saw each other naked. I don't like, okay. What do I say about this? We took our pants off. We took our pants off.
It just feels like they're reminiscing and like giggling about this together and like picturing it and like, what is the lesson here? What are we learning? What is your Christian audience supposed to learn from the fact that you guys like said 3, 2, 1 and pulled your pants down? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with working your way up towards it, whatever that looks like for you. But I don't know, like even this to me just doesn't feel like the ideal. I feel like you should be able to naturally let it happen and not have to go 3, 2, 1, take your pants off because I know that we are most likely going to be having sex tonight. And we just need to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with, as Ava said.
And we saw each other's private parts. And it was fine. Like, it was fine. It was a little bit weird.
It's just different. I mean, like, it's different.
It was weird, but it was fine. Then...
I'm glad we did it the way that we did it.
Yeah.
Because I know that we did it the way that God intended for it to be done. Mm-hmm. And I know that it happened the way... I know that it was comfortable because it was you.
Yeah.
And because, again, we'd done it the way that
yeah. Then after that, we did some more things that we said that we were going to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I just don't know how detailed I want to get. We showered. ABCDFG. Okay.
Great.
Then this is like the main part. We got out of the shower, we got ready for bed, and we were laying in bed, and literally at this point, both of us still were like, I'm so exhausted. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if I mentally like am here. I'm literally falling asleep, all the things. Mm-hmm. And so we both decided, like...
I was like, can we just go to bed?
Yeah, we both decided, we were like, can we just go to bed? Like, I'm so tired. We can do this another day. We're going to be married for the rest of our lives. And also, we had crossed a bridge that felt very heavy for us for a very long time. So, like, that in and of itself felt like an accomplishment. So it didn't feel like we didn't... Not that we needed to accomplish anything, but it just felt like we had crossed a bridge that was it was good. Mm-hmm. And
like it's okay. Again, it's okay to take small steps.
Small steps. Yeah. That felt like a good step. So we went to bed, turned out the lights, trying to go to sleep. Could not sleep.
Like I thought that I was gonna just be knocked out.
Same. And we both just could not sleep. I think we probably rolled around and tried to go to bed for like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes.
Maybe longer, honestly.
Probably longer than that. And Ross rolled over and was like, can you sleep? I was like, no, can't. And he was like, okay. And then we both just kind of like...
I think the reason that both of us couldn't sleep, and this is what I never expected to feel a spiritual weight about sex.
Ross, in the last video, talked about how, like, it's Ava's duty, you know, to fulfill this schedule to him. And he did talk about how it will be blessed and it will be spiritual, and that everything they know about intimacy so far is that it is a spiritual act. So I don't know what he's trying to say by this. But it's a red flag. He's probably trying to give himself, like, trying to make us look at him in a positive light here, because that is just not true. He has, with the help of his pastor, spiritualized all of these issues to Ava, like, severely.
In this sense, but I just felt like neither of us was sleeping because we were delaying that. And again, I want to be careful how I say
Yeah,
this.
it didn't feel like, well, okay, wait, on my end, it didn't feel like I couldn't sleep because I was like delaying it. I just couldn't sleep because I couldn't sleep. And it was just weird. It was just like,
Why can't I sleep?
Why can't I fall asleep? It's not like I'm not even tripping about.
I guess that's similar to the way that it was for me, and I can already anticipate how people are going to take this and take it however you want to take it. But this is how it went
for us.
This is how it felt to me. I genuinely felt, and again, before that, I was completely fine to go to bed. I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to close my eyes and wake up with the sunrise and the birds in the morning. But I couldn't, Ava couldn't, and I genuinely felt a conviction that we needed to go ahead and try.
Yeah.
Personal convictions are never talked about in the Bible. When the Holy Spirit convicts somebody, he's convicting them of something that is a sin that everybody would be convicted of, right? God is not going to convict you of not having sex with your wife on your wedding night. It's a misuse of the term, and I would even say that if he's aware of what he's doing here, that would be like spiritually abusive potentially. It really disgusts me, and yeah, they were heading the right direction, but at this point now he's saying, I really feel as your husband, as your spiritual leader, it's okay if you say no, but as your leader, this is your first opportunity to submit to me. I know you already said you want to go to bed, but I think we need to just have sex. I think we just need to try. I feel like I need to like have a moment of silence and sit with it. Maybe you guys will have to like pause the video, but I feel like we're watching manipulation happen in real time, and maybe it's not manipulation if he's not aware of what he's doing. But I feel like there's something innately inside of you, of all people, decent people, that makes you not want to have sex with people who don't want to have sex with you. Like, in a literal sense. Like, you're not going to tell them that God convicted you of it. And that is what this feels like. It feels like an act of violence to me. Now, Ava doesn't interpret it that way at this point, but this is kind of what I'm talking about, where people will say right after their wedding night, it was fine. But then later on, they process it more and they'll come back and say, actually, there were all these issues and here's what we learned later down the road. We see that with people like Girl Defined. She, later on, will talk about how, like, their sex life was trash. I'm gonna let them continue, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. To me, this feels coercive and extremely wrong.
And I was nervous more than I expected that I would be, and I knew that Ava was nervous. And so I said to Ava, I think that we need to try.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay.
And I knew that I had made it clear enough, and I knew that she knew that I was being so for real that it was completely fine if we didn't do anything. And for you to come back with, if you would have said, I really just don't want to, then I would have
You would have been like, okay.
Again, I'm sure Ava does know that saying no is an option for her, that she can do that he's kind of made these comments that it would be okay if they didn't. But for him to then change at the last second and say, well, God has kind of laid this on my heart. I think the reason we both can't sleep right now is because God wants us to be intimate together. That is her first opportunity to submit as a wife, to serve her husband. Yeah, it is really kind of like a test almost. And I know that he's saying she could have said no, and so is she. It doesn't really, to me, feel like she has much of an option, because they've created a scenario here where if she were to say no, then that's her not really being empathetic to where he's at as her husband on the wedding night, or maybe she's not following his leading, his spiritual leading. Like, there's so many mind games that would go along with this. It just doesn't feel like a straightforward, she can say yes or no and there are going to be no consequences for her. I feel that in this culture, there are very much consequences for women that choose to not meet their husband's drive at the level that he would like.
And I would not have pushed that, but you really just, I think.
I literally was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't sleep. So, like, yeah. So then we did it. And the crazy thing about this is that Well, not the crazy thing. The one thing that, wait, I don't know what I want to say first because there's so many emotions that happen.
Can I pause you again?
Yeah.
I think something that we were told that I don't know if is widespread the way that it's expected that it should go. It's not going to be a movie your first time. And if you can just seriously talk through everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, a piece of advice that we got was to communicate. And yes, I mean, like, vaguely, people were like, you need to communicate about, like, your wants and your needs and all these different things. Like, yeah, obviously. But one thing that Ross and I talked about by ourselves before this night was, like, I want to, like, talk through this entire thing because, like, obviously this is new to me. This is obviously new to you. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, like, innately we do, but, like, not really.
No, for real.
And the best thing that we did for each other was, like, not try to make it a movie.
I don't honestly know what they mean by try to make it a movie. Maybe they're just saying, like, it's not going to necessarily flow absolutely perfectly. I kind of feel like what they're talking about is just it's not going to be, like, romantic or passionate, which, valid. If you are losing your virginity, you're probably going to have some figuring out to do. That's totally fine. A lot of times in evangelical communities, I feel like when they'll say these things, what they're really doing is trying to get women to be okay with not prioritizing their own pleasure. Like, yeah, your husband might not be able to make you finish, and you just need to deal with that. Like, and he doesn't really need to try that hard. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And so I would be curious to hear more about what they mean by not a movie, because obviously, yeah, there are media sources depicting sexual interactions that are not the most realistic. But I also can't think of, like, a movie that was unrealistic to the point where it, like, confused me about what sex was. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, we literally talked through the entire thing. And, like, that, first of all, relieved a lot of nerves because I felt like we were each speaking and each other was being heard, and that made the process a lot easier. But also, like, it just was a fantastic reminder of this is your person. This is somebody that you've known for 5.5 years. This is not like, he is not new. This is new, but he is not. And y'all can do this. Like, you can do this together. One
moment that we haven't even talked about since it happened, but it just came back to me, and I don't know how I haven't thought about it since that night, but you broke down and started crying.
Oh yeah, I did start crying.
I
was so emotional our wedding weekend.
As we were in the process.
You know, I don't believe in the gender roles or the marital roles that they believe in, but in their worldview, Ross is supposed to be a provider and a protector for Ava, and I don't think he's being very protective of her in calling out that she cried in the middle of them having sex for the first time. That is very intimate detail. Again, what point are they like, first they're like, oh, for anybody that's nervous, no, it'll be great. And now they've said it's not like a movie. We had to literally verbally walk through every step, which to a lot of people sounds incredibly awkward. That doesn't sound like they love to call sex practical. So like walking through it and communicating is practical. And I'm not saying you shouldn't communicate, but like, what they're laying out does not sound enjoyable, and now finding this out, again, there's no shame there for Ava. It's a new experience for her. I'm sure she was overwhelmed. I'm sure that she did feel to a degree like she couldn't say no in that situation, given that God was the one who prompted them to have sex. So I'm not surprised that that's the way it went, but then why is he, as her husband, doing this publicly? Why did they leave this in the podcast? It just feels to me like he's not trying to, I don't know, like if I was ever going to have my husband on my channel in talking to you guys, I would be very select about what was included because of how much I love him, because I want to make sure that it's going to be the most positive stuff, because I see him in an incredibly positive light. This just really bothers me. Please, even if you've left a few comments at this point, let me know what you think at this point about this specific issue, because I'm kind of at a loss for words, and I'm going to need you guys to help me fill in the gaps here.
And we stopped for a second, and I was like, "Are you good?" And you're like, "Yes, it for so long has felt so wrong, and this feels right." And I think for both of us, that was just a moment where, how to articulate this? Like, it didn't feel like we were having sex.
No.
It felt like this is God's design.
This is covenant.
Yes.
This is covenant.
Yeah.
Was she crying because it was covenant and it was so beautiful and those were happy tears? Or was she crying because it was sacrifice and she was trying to see that as a beautiful thing? I mean that is a genuine question. Ava and Ross, feel free to answer it, although they don't answer any of the questions or criticisms or anything that's not like super pro exactly the route they're taking. They won't respond to it, so I don't know. But I would really actually be curious to hear more about that specific incident, although I really kind of wish they wouldn't have brought it up at all because it doesn't feel like our business.
His word is true, and no matter what Instagram comments say or what the world says about it, like if you're seeking him and seeking his way, it's going to be so hard. But
It's
when
so
you
worth
get
it.
there, and yes.
And
so
I will
worth it.
say, like, we might have already made this clear, but, like, it did not look perfect for us. Like, it definitely doesn't look perfect for anyone their first time.
We're still learning.
Yeah, it didn't look perfect for us. But it didn't change the weight of how emotionally and spiritually connecting it was, and how, like, just freaking awesome it was. Like, was it awesome? No.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, where Christians will say in one sentence, it was so awesome, it was spiritually and physically connecting, I totally became one flesh with my spouse. And also, was it awesome just like in and of sex? No. Imagine going on the internet and saying that sex with your spouse was not awesome. I'm not saying, like, yes, if it's your first time, you guys, it probably won't be awesome. Like, if it's your first time ever, it probably won't be awesome. But it just is like they're selling this as the reward. They're trying to market this to younger Christians as, don't even worry, don't stress, this was awesome. It doesn't sound awesome. It doesn't sound like you enjoyed yourself. It sounds like there was coercion. None of this sounds like a good time to me.
But, like, well, not to say no. I'm not saying it like that. Was it, like, the best ever? I don't know.
If my virgin partner who had only had sex with me one time said that it wasn't the best ever just on what they're assuming because they literally have nothing else to compare it to, that would devastate me.
But, like,
It wasn't.
what I'm trying to say is it didn't have to be the best sex ever to be the best sex ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was our first time, it was each other, and it was, like, so intentional, and I had so much fear going into what I thought was going to be the most awkward, most scary, most nerve-wracking experience, and it was so good. Like, there's no other way to put it. It was just good. And I felt so close to Ross. And if you're worried or nervous or you looked anything like me months before the wedding day, crying and sobbing.
I want to do something real quick. I want to do something. This just came to me.
What? You're pulling it up.
This was you. Let's see. This was you January 20th.
I just want to be good and I want to enjoy it. I don't mean to cry.
It's okay.
I just want to be good. I know that anything that happens is gonna be good. I just don't want to be so, like, uptight. What if I'm too uptight? And I don't know how to, like, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm not? I'm scared that I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. Even though, again, that I know how much I love you.
Yeah.
And I know how comfortable you do make me feel.
There's a lot of factors, I think. What would you say? Oh.
I'd say chill out. Which, like, not in, like, a rude way. Because everything that I'm saying in that video is, like, I knew everything. And I still know everything. Like, I know it's going to be good no matter what happens. Yes, Ava, you do know that. Guess what? It was good no matter what happened. I'm scared I'm going to be uncomfortable. Yeah, you're going to feel uncomfortable. But guess what? It's freaking Ross and it's your person.
Yeah, I feel like all of those fears were realized. Like, all of those fears happened. She wasn't affirmed through this experience. She just has realized, yeah, we are going to be starting at block 1 or block 0, and it's going to take a while to build up to what I would ideally like this to be. Again, nothing wrong with that, but I just don't really appreciate the kind of double speak, the, like, in one breath, it was so good, in the other breath, it was awkward and uncomfortable, it was so connecting and spiritual, it was not awesome. How are people supposed to take this? What is the lesson from this? None of this to me even feels like fully consensual, honestly, so it's hard for me to talk about it like it is, and I don't know the dynamics of their relationship, and so I don't want to just put that out there either, but it's hard when they talk about things like, you know, scheduling sex so that Ava can make sure she's keeping up no matter what. To me, feels coercive. Saying God told you that you need to at least try feels coercive. So I don't know how else to deal with this, because it's like, I want to have this be a conversation about purity culture and marriage so that we can make it be a productive conversation and talk about how this would apply to, you know, your relationship, people, you know, your old relationship, what you could have gotten into if you continued in the church. You know, like, it's supposed to be educational. But, I mean, this is a part of, I guess it is educational. It feels like I don't know. I'm gonna have to see how they continue on, because honestly, if we keep hearing about sexual coercion, I am going to have to stop covering them, because it's hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for you guys to listen to. And yeah, but I'll let this the one time we can talk about it here, just that this is something that happens in purity culture. Sexual abuse is something that does happen. I don't know specific to purity culture what the rates are, but sexual abuse is already very, very common. And in purity culture, it can make things even worse, because you can be taught to cover up things for other people, to demonize yourself as a woman, to constantly be looking at what you did wrong to make them lust, to blame men's lust or sexual actions on yourself. It can bring you to situations like we see Ross and Ava in, where you end up in a bed with a partner who's saying, God told me we need to try to have sex. And those situations are terrifying, and it's not easy when you're in them to spot what's going on. And so I guess, you know, if you have ever found yourself in this situation, if no one has ever said it to you before, if you've never shared it with anyone before, I want you to know that this is not normal. I want you to know that, like, I need to go take a shower after listening to Ross and Ava's video and responding to it, because it's genuinely that upsetting and just grimy to me, because it is so devoid of respect, and to me, from their own narration, it feels devoid of clear-cut consent. The crying, that is not an abnormal thing. I'm not shaming anyone that has ever cried during sex. However, I would be concerned that it was not a happy cry. And, like, you've been with him for 5.5 years, and you're going to be with him for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. What happens if I'm uptight and I'm nervous and whatever? Yeah, you freaking were. But guess what? You talked through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like,
I think that I don't think that should be considered an unnormal feeling. Mm-mm. Because I think that it's so valid that I felt the way that I felt.
Mm-hmm. And that lots of people feel that way.
Yeah. I would not discount myself at all for feeling that way.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I don't think that Ava should discount feeling that way at all. And I actually think that she did. And that is what me and other people who are critics of theirs are kind of arguing, right? I worry that Ava has these negative feelings coming up. She has these fears. She's worried it's going to be all of these things. Then it is all of those things. And despite all of this, throughout the entire process, she's been telling herself, no, it's fine. No, it really is good. No, it really is going to be good. No, even though it was awkward and weird, it is still good. And again, if you're waiting till marriage, you guys, like, I'm not saying it's gonna be, fireworks the first time that you ever are intimate, but my concern with this, she may have just not been ready. And that a lot of people in purity culture settings are actually feeling this way, not because it's a new sexual situation that they've never been in before, but because they're actually not ready to be in a sexual situation. They are not attracted to that person or that gender or sex at all, right? And so those are things that maybe take them some time to figure out. And I just don't like seeing people ending up in these sort of traumatic situations. So yeah, I don't want Ava to discount her feelings at all. My concern is that she is doing that by the hyper positivity, by the pastor constantly redirecting them, assuring them that scheduling sex before you've ever even had it is completely normal and committing to it is normal. This is a heavy one, you guys. I'm sorry. I really am going to have to think about what the future of me covering them looks like, or if I am going to cover them, because it makes me sick.
But I also knew during that stage.
You knew the truth.
Well, wait. I knew during that stage, crying, being so scared about it, that I was going to be sitting here making a video saying to my future self that it was fine. So it's like, if anybody feels that way or has felt that way, you are going to get to your wedding night and you are going to get to marriage, and you're going to look back on those feelings and be like, yeah, they were valid, but also I'm on the other side and it's great. Mm-hmm. And don't discount your feelings. Don't tell yourself that you shouldn't feel a certain way or you should feel a certain way, because whatever you're feeling is what you're feeling. But you can do it. Mm-hmm. And it will be okay, and it is your person. And
I am going to end it here because frankly, I just don't even want to listen to her advice, and we are almost done with it. There's 2 more minutes of the podcast left. I mean, yeah, listen, if you're waiting till your wedding night and you are just nervous about the actual act and what that looks like, but you're excited about it, you will be okay. That's correct. I'm not trying to scare anybody at all. I'm not trying to change your mind about waiting for marriage or anything like that. But if you are ready to have sex, ideally you would be excited. If you are the type of person that is trying to prioritize your spouse's reputation, their mental health, how your marriage looks online, I don't think you would put podcasts like this out. And it seems to me like Ross, he has tried to go viral on social media for a long time. He actually met Ava. She met him online and kind of pursued him. He was already trying to do a Christian content thing. He only started getting views really once Ava and him got engaged and started making these videos together fairly recently, in the last year. It feels like what he knows is going to get views, which is offensive content, although I don't know if he really realizes how bad it is. He knows, for example, that Ava got shit for crying about sex. She's now confirmed all of her fears in that video. I just don't know what they're doing. I'm having a hard time, you guys. I for those of you that don't watch my videos a lot, I normally don't. I'm not so speechless, but I'm really struggling with this one because of obviously the content that we've covered and how concerning this is to me. I am thrilled that they loved their wedding, their next video will cover their honeymoon, but I would assume their honeymoon was enjoyable. I'm thrilled that they had a good time, but the rest of this is not something that I would ever want for somebody that I love in my life. Please let me know what you guys think. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking with me, because it was not an easy one to make. If you want to support my channel, you can like this video, leave a comment, you can leave a dove down below or a bird because that's my logo. You can become a channel member. You can go follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook because I am trying to grow over there as well, and I do post slightly different content. I know I always tell you guys to leave a comment, but I really would appreciate some of your opinions on this one and maybe what your opinions on the future of coverage should look like, because it's heavy. It is heavy. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.